France is experiencing a heat wave that has killed more than 15,000 people. Why? Because French political leaders are in the grip of a false cult. For years, I have labeled the Green Movement a religious cult. Just this week, a writer in a secular British publication, Unheard, called it climate fundamentalism. It satisfies all the requirements of a cult. They claim to be in sole possession of the truth. Everyone is a heretic and anti-science. They claim to explain everything. Every weather event, from drought to blizzards, is explained by their theology. They alone can provide redemption. Only recycling can save your soul. The cult offers secular community, a conglomerate of the like-minded, and so on. The environmental movement is a religion. French authorities said the deaths were caused by being isolated and severe loneliness. No, the people died because they didn't have air conditioning. Every one of those 15,000 lives could have been saved if they lived in air-conditioned housing. The French left argues that AC will contribute to global warming catastrophe. No, it won't. If the French use or don't use electricity to provide AC, it won't make a bit of difference to the climate. The French know this. In the Wall Street Journal, it said, quote, "Why doesn't that realization carry the day?" The answer can be found in a deeper current of left liberal thought that has nothing to do with science or engineering. In early June, a group of left-wing economists declared economic growth a doomed strategy and signed on in support of a roadmap developed by the UN for a new degrowth economy. Underlying this roadmap is the idea that wanting to be comfortable is shameful. End quote. No Christian conservative has ever believed a sillier legalism than to be comfortable is shameful. Or put it differently, to be alive is better than being dead. Gavin Mortimer in The Spectator tells us why the French don't have AC. Quote, "The problem in France is ideology. The political, cultural, and media elite is dominated by the left, and a central tenet of their dogma is the belief that air conditioning is bad for the environment." End quote. Substitute the word religion for ideology, and you get my drift. Then there's the economic damage. The heat wave has cost the French economy up to $240 billion US. That's a pretty expensive tithe to pay on your religion. Across all of Europe in the last 3 years, 200,000 people have died from the heat. Every one of those lives could have been saved with air conditioning. The green cult imposes its religion on the rest of us. The Wall Street Journal noted, quote, "Opposition to cooling is written into the law of Europe. In France, a condominium owner generally needs the consent of the other owners to install air conditioning." End quote. Helen Raleigh wrote in The Federalist, "What's happening in Europe is the grim outcome of 2 decades steeped in climate dogma. Minor inconveniences have transformed into rigid policies and cultural norms that prioritize emission reductions over human survival. In other words, it puts its cultic doctrines over human well-being." In 1902, God gave an engineer by the name of Willis Carrier the technological insights to use the new technology of electricity to cool air. What a blessing. It's too bad the green cult prevents its wider usage. I have argued for decades that the central conflict in the world is false doctrine versus true doctrine. France is proving me right.